Like I said, I wanted to show my face, but you get a picture of me. So this is me a couple years ago in the Army, and the business I'm running now is Halcyon Land. So we are purchasing land with the ability to resell it, and really donating a portion of profits here to other veterans. It's a little bit what I do on the backside, but I wanted to run through some examples to show you what I'm doing. So this is here in Texas, northeast Texas in Quinlan. This is the Wynn family, had 3 properties. We went through this process and they decided to sell here. It was $33,000. And they actually never got the cash. That went directly to their church as a donation for what they did. And then I turned around and also donated. Don't do that. I also made a donation from that as well. And then what I want to show you is the speed that they got paid out. So this was a pretty successful one. Here's one in Florida. This was really just a few emails back and forth, but me and Mr. Bixler here. This is 30 days. It was $80,000 for $40,000 each for his 2 properties here, and another one down in Texas. Mr. Grenay had some sons, and he kept 3 properties here. His idea was that they would be their inheritance, either the land themselves or the cash, and he chose the cash. This has great fishing, where he thought he would go with his sons. He's got freshwater fishing on the front side, and then back here is saltwater fishing on the back side of the property. So he really liked it, but his sons had moved away and started their own families, and then he said, just give me the money instead. So this was another deal that we did. But this is what my business does, is we'll take land from folks who are done using it, don't need it anymore, and have a better use for the money, just like you. This is a bit of the comparison here. So you could go a bunch of different ways, right? You could use a realtor, an agent, and sell it on the MLS, is this traditional side on the right, and then down the middle here is the Halcyon Land offer, is some of the comparison between the two. In order for me to make profit for my company, but then also do our donations, I can't offer you the full market value of the property, which is what we're going to get into here in a minute. My offer will be less than that, but sometimes it's not always a straight apples to apples comparison, right? So if you're going to list it, there will be commissions for the agents, both the buying and the selling agent. So it's 3% for each. Closing costs of the title company's work, they take some percentage of the total amount, so there's money there. And showings and improvements, so when you are showing property and having people come look at it, sometimes it takes work, sometimes it takes just time and phone calls back and forth for someone to come ask you a bunch of questions about it. And then improvements, right? So if you're going to have to mow or chop down a tree or fix a fence, stuff like that, I don't have any of that. If I'm going to make you an offer for your land, it's done for you. It's super simple and easy. Speed and efficiency and ease for you really is my offer, is my core business, so that you don't have to deal with any of this. Plus, I've got a little perk here. It's a donation events where on the other side there's really none. We are going to talk about time to close here later, about your ability to choose your own closing date of how quickly do you want to move versus how long something takes to sell out on the market. But we'll get into that in a moment. So get into land. The land is different than houses. So this is just an image of houses. When you compare them, they're pretty simple. It's kind of like, how many stories does it have? My house has got 4 bedrooms. Their house has 3 bedrooms. Is this more or less? And does it have a pool? So even here, without getting into the details, you can see 1, 2, I think there's a 3rd pool down here. Maybe that's a pool. You can tell pretty clearly what they are, which houses have this like white picket fence, and then maybe this one's a corner lot, so maybe it's a little bit bigger. But you can pretty much get pretty organized pretty quickly on the value of all these houses are going to be very, very similar to each other. They all look 2 stories. They all look like a driveway. They all look like they have the same amount of grass and yard around them. So they're all very, very similar. Land is not like that. So 24, these are 24 different characteristics I look at when I'm buying land and then going to sell it. And all down the middle here is the checklist of what I'm looking for. And you'll see on the left and then on the right, you have the ability for the characteristic to be less valuable or more valuable. So if I look at number 10 here on the list, utilities like power lines, telephone lines, internet, is there a sewer or a septic tank? Is there water or just do you need a well to provide water to the property? If there are no utilities, the property is worth less. It's none. right? It's worth less because there are no utilities. If the piece of land has all of the utilities, then it's worth more. And this is true for all the rest of these other things too. If you have an HOA, if there's no HOA, that's a good thing. If there's an HOA that's very expensive, that's a bad thing. So these can move the value of a piece of land from low to high or from high to low, depending on what we're looking at. So we're going to look at these four things, four blue things for the blueprint here that I'm going to show you the value of your land. But I want to show you all the rest of this is what I do if you choose to work with me. I take all this work off your plate. Okay, so here we are. Here is your property. I got your